Alrighty. Usually doing this after work on my drive home. However, at work today, I am doing a lot of driving, kind of all around. So, figured I would get this done midday so that I can get out a little earlier, cut it up into some shorts a little bit quicker, all that jazz. So, also haven't eaten, have to go get blood work right after work. So I'm on like hour 8 of my fast right now. So the quicker that I can get to my blood work, the quicker I can eat. So like, hey, let's knock this out early so I can eat a little bit quicker and down that food. So big idea today. Other thing too is I don't have my I didn't bring my fancy little microphone with me, so we gotta have a little poor audio quality from the AirPods. So that's real unfortunate, but let's dive right in. So coaches need to train. Whether that be like actually compete in a sport, whether that be have just like a training goal. Coaches, no matter what sport you are in, specifically Olympic weightlifting though, need to be competing in some sport, need to actually be challenging themselves to hit new goals each and every session, each and every week, each and every whatever. So I competed in weightlifting for 3 years. At the end of that second year, blew out my shoulder. So complete slap tear, broke a bone, and tore my infraspinatus about 80%. Came back from that, competed at nationals next year, did fucking terrible, did absolutely terrible. Kept trying to push it, kept trying to come back for about 6 more months. Wasn't in the cards for me, just could not snatch, because it was snatch that fucked me up. Could just never get back to where I was snatch wise. And even to this day, snatches make my shoulder ache. I can power. Muscles hurt, full snatches hurt. Like I powered 100 kilos the other day. But yeah, if I go any deeper, yeah, just not the case. Can clean fine, can jerk fine, but snatches ain't in it for me. So officially hung up the boots, no longer actually trying to be competitive in Olympic weightlifting. Let's do something else then. So I signed up for a powerlifting meet. I'm doing that in March. I have a plan to at some point do a strongman competition. I have a plan to at some point maybe do a bodybuilding competition. I've done I think 2 CrossFit competitions before, won those. So lots of experience doing a bunch of different shit. And I think there is also a lot of value for Olympic weightlifting coaches to compete in sports, to train for things that are not Olympic weightlifting. So recently, let's say the past 3 to 4 months, really proud of that. So like right when I started this job with the Army, big culture thing of the Army is running. So I got pulled into a lot of runs. I had not fucking run for probably like 4 years. So running, something I had to get good at. So started doing a lot more conditioning, just really a lot more practice with a whole different type of thing. Saw tons of benefits of just overall being healthier, transferring over to weightlifting and transferring over to just getting stronger. Boom, took that lesson, added in all my weightlifters, do some sort of conditioning. Like it's not a lot. It's three rounds of 3 minutes with their plyos in their warm-ups. Like it's really not anything fucking crazy, but enough to get their heart rate going and enough to like actually make some adaptation, actually get them a little bit healthier, get them a little bit better. More recently, the past like 4 or so months, I have been on a giant plyometric kick. So like I mentioned, I power snatched 100 kilos the other day. That is a 7 kilo PR, so 15 pound PR over what I ever hit when I was actually competitive. And I hadn't done a snatch in about 3 to 4 months. All I had done is just pure strength work for the powerlifting and plyometric. So the only explosive thing I was doing was just being explosive with my body weight, being rhythmic, developing the joints, developing the elasticity, all of that jazz, and just overall pure strength. And I hit a fucking 7 kilo PR over when I was actually training for that actual event. And as a result, I've been incorporating a shit ton more plyometrics into my training, and then started implementing that into the training of my athletes. Overall, like hell, it's just like being explosive. Every single thing we do in weightlifting is just a weighted jump. So we do stuff moving fairly slow, like max of like a meter per second with the barbell. Weighted, like everything's a weighted jump. There's gonna be a lot of benefits you're gonna get from instead of being just max power, more of like a rhythmic elastic component for just like tendon and joint health overall. So adding in a shit ton of that, getting really just like learning to teach my athletes how to control their center of mass in various ways throughout those plyometrics, getting them to produce and resist force in different ways, because you are never going to catch a snatch, a clean, a jerk in the same position every time. It is always going to be slightly different. Like no matter how proficient you are, it's always going to look different. You'll catch a snatch maybe a little bit wider, you'll have to walk it out, something like that. And if we have not trained to produce and really resist force in a variety of different ways, one of those times you're gonna have to try to walk it out, or you're gonna catch it a little farther back, and you're not gonna be able to save the lift because you have never really practiced or ever had to get into that range of motion, ever really had to fight to produce force in these weird ways. So a lot of the plyometrics, a lot of the start stuff we do before, I switched out more of like generic primers, like, hey, use this as a like focus point, to like a little bit of cardio, a little bit of movement preps. Like we're doing some crawls this week, just getting their spine, getting their body moving in a variety of different ways, help take some pressure off a few joints, help train up some other joints. And again, just getting their body to move in different ways, produce force, resist force in different ways, into some plyometric work. So whether it be lower body, upper body, anything of that nature. Go ahead. Anything of that nature, like really, like, again, you are never going to be in that same position every time. You're going to need to learn how to produce and resist and control your center of mass in different ways. And really, none of that would have even come on my radar or really been anything at all if I had not gone down that rabbit hole myself and really started to train for that specific skill, and started competing in that specific skill. Like it's not doing any fucking plyometric competitions, like not doing parkour, but competing against myself in my garage gym every single day. Along that same line, like I have not done a bodybuilding competition. Again, that is in the works at some point. But along that same route, like the more bodybuilding I did, the less I focused, the less I got hung up on specific exercises. Like you have to do a back squat. And saw it less as the exercise and more as a stimulus. Like I want to stimulate this specific muscle in this specific position. How can I then create something to then best suit that? So whether it be like a bicep curl, change it up just a little bit to get the stimulus that I'm looking for. I really don't back squat with any of my athletes anymore, as if they have access to a transformer bar or a safety squat bar, they do not do a back squat. So if they have access to something that they can better load, something that's easier on the shoulders, and something that can allow their chest to be more upright, so we're mimicking and getting stronger in the actual pattern that they will Olympic weightlift in, they're not going to back squat. Because at the end of the day, like the back squat doesn't fucking matter. Leg strength and leg development and leg power is what matters. Well, we can achieve that in a bunch of different ways. I have specifically found that the safety bar or the transformer bar, if you have that from Kabuki, because you can do like 21 different variations on the loading pattern for that, which is amazing, except for the fact that it's $800 fucking dollars, and I am not buying that for my own home gym. Would love it, but we got one here at work, so I'm golden. But either way, would not have gotten down that rabbit hole unless I had actually really started pushing myself in bodybuilding. I'm sure when I do that strongman competition, I will learn some more things there. But yeah, really at the end of the day, like if you are not a coach like of anything, whether it be football coach, Olympic weightlifting coach, whatever it may be, if you are not actively training, actively competing, actively trying out different things on yourself, like on a daily training basis, you're not going to get better as a coach, or at least not as better. You're going to sit in your own little silo, have these own tiny little things that you just do forever because you've never really gone outside of your model, outside of your little 2x2 cubicle, doing a disservice to yourself, doing a disservice to your athletes, because there's a lot of shit out there that can be very, very beneficial, that looking at it at its base is probably very antithetical or just very against or just very different from what you've been doing. So that is the thing, is go be an athlete, go train, go push yourself, go do a bunch of different things. Don't be in your silo of, oh, I'm an Olympic weightlifter, I'm an Olympic weightlifting coach, I only snatch, clean, jerk. But like, when you're a coach, like the goal, you're no longer an athlete. Like if you are coaching athletes, your number one priority should not be your own athletic development. It should be the athletic development of your athletes. So your training then comes second. So if you're ever coaching at a meet and you're trying to compete at the meet, good fucking luck. Like you're either going to take away from your own performance or the performance of your athletes. Either way, not a good fucking deal. So again, train yourself hard, try out different things. Yeah, that's all we got.